Let's celebrate this month. Let's celebrate this week. Welcome to the Big Weekly Blend podcast, the companion to our Big Weekly Blend magazine. Well, welcome everybody. Today we're super excited because we're going to be covering the holidays of October 29th through November 5th. And we've got three writers joining us, all who are members of the Tucson Sisters in Crime. In fact, one of them's a brother, but you know, we can have men and women on this show who are all part of the Tucson Sisters in Crime. And Tucson Sisters in Crime is pretty cool. And if you are a writer, if you're a reader, if you're an editor, anybody who likes crime and anything that's set in Tucson or about Tucson, or if you live in Tucson, this is the organization for you to know about. You can check them out at TucsonSistersInCrime.org. In fact, we had them all on the show in the spring because they had this new anthology come out, and you guys should get it because, you know, it's the season. It's called Trouble in Tucson. And you can go to TucsonSistersInCrime.org for that. So check it out. So first up, I'm going to bring Eva Eldridge on the show. You've heard her on our shows over the years, read her articles in our different Big Blend magazines, and you can keep up with her at evaeldridge.com. All the websites I talk about on the show today. And we'll have links to a music playlist and all kinds of good stuff will be in the show notes. But welcome back, Eva. How are you?
I'm great, Lisa. And how's the weather where you are?
Well, right now, today this is airing like as we drive to Tucson. But today we are in Asheville, North Carolina, and it's chilly and we have perfect fall colors. We had a thunderstorm, we had rain. I'm surrounded by witches, ghosts, goblins, and candy corn things swinging in the trees. So, yeah, how are you doing?
That is fabulous.
Isn't that cool?
Really good.
Did you say Gould?
Sorry.
Like a ghoul? Did you say really
Yeah, we
ghouls?
had ghouls. we have many ghouls hanging around.
Ooh, we like that. You're in Missouri today, right?
I am in Missouri today. And
So
it's a little spooky here. Many pumpkins.
Oh, little pumpkin heads running around, huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. Now, have you carved a pumpkin before?
Yes.
And done like the jack-o'-lantern? It's not that easy as we all thought, is it? Like when you do it, it's a little harder.
It's very, very hard to get through the pumpkin. And you can't really do that in Tucson. I mean, you can in some places, but in my neighborhood, the first year I carved a jack-o'-lantern and put it out on the porch, I had visitors in the way of javelina. They loved the pumpkins. And the jack-o'-lanterns did not survive.
Oh, so I saw a pineapple made into a jack-o'-lantern for Florida. You know, and
that's
Hawaii.
Interesting. They put a light in it.
Yes, and we just had this amazing pineapple. It's called the Pink Glow. It's from Melissa's Produce. They were on our show earlier, a couple of weeks ago, and it's a pink pineapple, and it has people who don't like acidic fruit can eat it. So it doesn't have that acidity to it. And it is absolutely divine. In fact, I put it in a bag so like I could catch the juice. It is amazing. So I was thinking like we could have a pink glowing pineapple for Halloween. Like it's cool, but I think the javelinas would eat that too. I think they would like it. Oh, it's so sweet and delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
Well,
we call that murder.
Go ahead.
We call that murder and mayhem on the front porch.
See, we're going to talk about some murder and mayhem today for sure. See, that was a perfect segue, Eva. Eva's good. She knows. We're going to bring Patrick Whitehurst on this show, and his story, The Boys Were Seen, is also featured in Trouble in Tucson, the anthology, and Eva is the editor of that. And welcome to the show, Patrick. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. So apparently you know about murder and mayhem in Tucson.
I'm getting there.
Well, you wrote it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. In fact, I started writing it before I moved to Tucson. So that was how I learned about the community.
So is it a nonfiction or fiction novel?
Murder and Mayhem in Tucson is nonfiction, and it
Ooh.
is a kind of a collection of interesting stories from way back in the early beginnings of the community to more recently. I think I ended on the Gabby Gifford shooting, and they're all
Oh,
stories related to true crime or incidents of horrific incidents that have happened in the community. So most bookstores around town have carried them, but I've noticed that some of them don't, and I'm beginning to
mm.
think that it may be because they don't want the tourists to see that.
I was going to say, welcome to Tucson. There's murder and mayhem.
Right.
Well, there's murder and mayhem in every place. You can't go to a city in the country or anywhere around the world and not have that happen. I mean, look at Jack and the Ripper, and people still go to London. And what do? They go on tours to see where Jack and the Ripper went,
I
so
would. Yeah.
I would too. Heck yeah, I want to know what he did. I mean, you think back in the day, we used to have impalings, and then next thing you know, like I just watched a film, Boudica, the Queen of War. And Boudica's she was like a Celt queen and rose up against the Romans, and it's a crazy story. But
He
there's
did
a lot of
impaling like
impaling.
Vlad the Ripper,
Yeah, yeah, they had
Vlad
like
the
they
Impaler.
she killed this guy's head off, right? Because he went after, killed her husband, killed her kids, so she went after him and cut his head off and put it on a stake for everybody to see.
Oh, that's what you do.
Don't mess with Boudica. But anyway, yeah, I mean and listen, there's, like I said, murder and mayhem everywhere. It's sad about what happened with Gabby Giffords. We were actually doing a live broadcast when that happened, and one of our guests coming on the show had just like shook her hand and met her right
Oh,
before.
wow.
And then he
Yeah,
was like, I
yeah.
can't call in. I'm like, call in. He did, and
It was
it was sad.
it was a big topic of discussion with the editor. Now, like you mentioned, Murder and Mayhem is a national. It happens in every big city, every small city, and this is part of a series of books put out by the History Press. So they actually have a lot of books throughout the country that focus on the different cities, and I got assigned the Tucson one, which I was happy to do as I was moving here.
Oh, where did you move from?
I moved from Monterey, California, where I grew up,
Oh, well, you
um,
had ghosts
and
there
I
too.
had I had just finished writing a book about ghosts of Monterey County. So that was my first book with the History Press was Haunted Monterey County, and
Oh, wow.
I visited all the creepy spots in Monterey, California
Wow.
to
Wow.
prepare for that book and saw some very creepy photos and even some videos, which of course you can't put in the book, but I wish you could have because there were some of the videos that I saw were really creepy, the kind that make your skin crawl a little bit when you watch it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just one's on the other side and one's, well, maybe not completely on the other side, but it's a reflection. That's how I look at it, right? You have happy ghosts and not happy ghosts, and that's a reflection of
And sometimes they're
everything.
very they're kind of automated. They're just doing the same thing over and over again. And sometimes they interact. There's a restaurant by Fisherman's Wharf that has a spirit that actually interacts with the people that work there. And the restaurant is closed now, but it for years there were stories of things being pushed off the piano, cooks being tapped on the shoulder, things like that.
That's so cool. And Tucson has a lot of hauntings too, right?
Yeah,
There's,
supposedly somebody is
uh-huh.
working on a haunted Tucson book. That's what led to me
Oh,
doing Murder and Mayhem. Was I inquired about doing a haunted Tucson, and somebody is working on it. I don't think it's out yet, but they said, well, that book has already been assigned, but how would you like to do Murder and Mayhem? And I was like, yeah, well, that sounds good too.
ooh, I like this. Everyone, PatrickWhitehurst.com, not Hurst as in a Hearst. Hurst. I'm sorry I had to do that. It's Hurst. PatrickWhitehurst.com is the website. We have Elaine Powers back on the show, and her website is ElaineAPowers.com and also lyricpower.net. Elaine has been on the show a couple times. Actually, I think a little bit more than a couple times. And what's really awesome about her is she is really about conservation. She teaches kids about iguana conservation. I remember doing a Zoom video interview with her while she had an iguana on her lap. I will want to tell you that Elaine, welcome back, number one, but number two, I recently did an interview with an author who brought a snake onto the show. So I thought, yeah, at some point we're going to have to put the two of you on one show together so we can have an iguana snake conversation. But she is about snake conservation. But welcome back. How are you?
I'm great. I'm delighted to be here. It's always great being on your show.
Are we allowed to have a snake and iguana conversation on Zoom? Like,
Of course. The tortoises will probably want to join in too.
ooh,
So we can have a three-way with reptiles.
I think it's cool. I think her name is Ginger Penholster, and she wrote a book about St. Augustine, and it was about a snakeatorium. You know how Florida has some of those weird, roadside things.
Yes.
You know, I'm just saying. But listen, Tucson has the thing down the road. Isn't there supposed to be a mummy in the thing, or does that cross into New Mexico? I can't remember. Eva, have you been to the thing? Have you done that yet?
I have been, and it is a mummy, and it's physically in the Amaranth Society out of Dragoon. But if you go to the thing, which is on the side of the road, it's a little museum thing there at, where is that? The top of the hill there. I can't remember the name of it. But it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. It's like a little maze you walk through, and they have a lot of items to look at until you get to the thing. They never tell you what it is until you get there. Then you see, oh, it's a mummy. Well, it's a fake mummy, but the real one does exist. Well, the real ones, they couldn't possibly keep a real mummy in there. So they have the real one at the Amaranth Museum in Dragoon.
Oh, so have you been to that one? Have you been to the Amaranth? Because we haven't done that yet, and we
No,
need to do it.
I haven't done that.
Oh, and has anybody? Have you been, Elaine or Patrick, to the Amaranth
I
at
have.
all? Did you see the mummy? We need to know. We need a mummy report on the show.
I don't remember the mummy. So I'm not sure if I saw it or not. Now I have to go back and look.
Patrick, did you see a mummy?
I have not. I've seen a mummy in St. Louis, but never here.
That is so funny to say. I saw a mummy in St. Louis. That sounds like a song title. But hey, Eva's not far from St. Louis. I saw a mummy in Pretoria, South Africa, and Nancy and I were there in the museum, and you could see his toe because it was poking out of the bandagey things. And that was cool. As a kid, I thought that was the coolest thing, was to see a mummy toe,
Oh.
But
Well,
anyway.
I did see them in Cairo, Egypt.
Oh, you did? You went to
And
Cairo.
They have
You got the real deal.
All sorts of mummified people, animals, birds. Really impressive.
Oh, wow. So you got mummified animals.
Yes,
Wow.
And the
Wow.
organ jars.
exactly. Yep.
Wow. I knew this show was going to get weird with you guys on there. I knew it was, what was I thinking? But Elaine, apparently, okay, so we were talking about organs and mummified animals, people, mummy toes, and apparently you've got something going on with tortoises becoming vampires?
Well, the name of the book is Vampire Tortoise. And it's my newest science-based picture book, not necessarily just for children. And it features a tortoise that looks like it's perhaps eating somebody with blood dripping down from its beak. But is it? You'll have to read the book to find out.
Well, okay. Well, I think this is cool for kids. How
Oh,
many
yes.
adults are learning from the children's books that you're writing, do you
I
think?
hope a lot of them. My point is, if I make it entertaining for kids, when the adults in their lives are reading to them, they might learn some stuff too.
I like it. I like it. I
Trying
think
to get all ages.
I like that. Eva, I want to go to you because I know we only have a little bit of time with Eva, because she has to go to St. Louis and see the mummy now since she's in Missouri. But the Trouble in Tucson anthology, do you want to give everyone just kind of like a little overview of the book? Because it's an anthology with a bunch of different stories, but when we think about Halloween, the Day of the Dead coming up, it kind of has it has some mayhem in there.
Well, actually there's a lot of murder in it, and then a few other chaos type things in those stories. It's a collection of stories from people that, especially like Patrick and Elaine. Elaine's stories is really creepy, and Patrick is really great with the gangsters. They created all kinds of chaos there. I was putting together the anthology for mystery writers and for Left Coast Crime, actually. And our theme was Trouble in Tucson. Mm-hmm. So it's a collection of stories all based in the Tucson area about all sorts of things. We have a little robbery, we have a little bit of tagging, and we have a lot of murder. So it was pretty good.
I like it. I like it. A little bit of murder, and there's naughtiness in there too. I remember some of the authors talking about some naughtiness. So Patrick, I know you weren't able to be on the show with us that day. We all tried, but we had all kinds of weird things going on in the world. I think they conspired to make sure you were here on the show to really talk about hauntings and murders and mummies and all that. Do you want to give us a snippet into, a little insight into your story in the book?
Sure. There were probably more than at least 3 or 4 murders in mine alone, but that's because there was
who's counting at this point?
I'm working on the murder points. So it's a hitman story with a twist. It's a gangster story with not much of a twist there. Just I like the typical Godfather kind of stories, but I thought I'd add a little twist to it. And I also had fun with, during that period of time that I wrote it, I was going through, I call it my Perry Mason phase. So I was watching every episode of the classic Perry Mason show. And I think I had read 6 of the first 6 books. So I thought, why not have these people in this short story be like huge Perry Mason fans, and they test each other on their Perry Mason knowledge all the time. So I worked that into the story around the shootouts and the pizza.
Oh, wow.
And that worked out really well. That was really cool aspect of it, and the twist at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, I had fun with the twist.
No spoilers. Yeah, you got to have the twist, and you got to leave your twist there because we don't want no spoilers. See, that's the thing.
Right.
Well, all these short stories, Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, with most of mine, I try to come up with a twist. I usually don't think of the twist until I'm almost to the end. But it comes to me, and those are the best kind of stories to read, I think. And they're kind of like Twilight Zone episodes in a way. They always have a twist, or the old Alfred Hitchcock shows. Can you tell I like old TV shows?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but you know what? But I think now we have so many graphic things that, are done, which is, I'm not knocking it.
I like those too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not knocking it. It's like a different art form, right? So I'm not knocking it. But there's something about there's a character thing that happens in the old style where the characters had to really pull and they weren't getting paid like they do now either. Just saying, they really pulled their weight, their acting muscle basically, to make up for what they didn't have like now. And back then they didn't know that we would have what we have now, but they were kind of the future,
Some of those creatives that were involved in those old TV shows and old movies, they still haven't really been topped. There's a few. I think there's a few new, like Jordan Peele is a great new director. I call him the new Alfred Hitchcock. For me, he's like the modern day version of Alfred Hitchcock. But still, nothing compares to Alfred Hitchcock for me for a lot of those suspense movies.
Oh, well, listen, you were in Monterey, so you were right where Vertigo was filmed, like outside in Hollister.
Oh, yeah.
Is Hollister Vertigo in the plaza, which is actually a state park. San Benito,
at the
San Juan
mission.
Bautista. Yeah, at the Mission.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the
And then
mission there.
Candlestick Point, right? Isn't that one? Candlestick Point was
Uh,
part of one. Yeah, it was for Vertigo.
I'm
Candlestick Point is in San Francisco, right on the north
oh,
side of the Golden Gate Bridge, is part of where
oh, okay.
Vertigo was filmed too.
And then
Yeah.
Bodega Bay isn't too far away where the
Oh,
birds,
Bodega Bay
you
is
know.
awesome too. Hippie colony, very
Yeah,
cool, fun. We love Bodega Bay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In
man.
fact, some of my favorite more modern scary movies were Us, just U.S. Jordan Peele one that was filmed in Santa Cruz,
Hmm. And
and
then we
then
got
of course
Tucson.
the '80s movie with Lost Boys was also filmed in Santa
Oh,
Cruz.
hey, and then you've also got to think you've got Richie Valens. La Bamba was filmed out there. Richie Valens,
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
what's his Diamond Phillips. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just yeah, that area is. But you know what? Tucson is massive on films. Massive. You
Oh
guys, I
yeah.
mean, you've got all the westerns, but at the same time, there were so many other movies like Boys on the Side that was filmed there and everything. So when I look at Tucson, you're gonna tell I'm homesick. You know, the music, the arts, the I mean, all of it, the film work that happened. You guys, I mean, you got the Tucson studio. Is it still called the Tucson Studios out by Saguaro National
Old
Park?
old
Old
Tucson
Tucson.
Studios.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have so much. And even south of Tucson, I know people film, but, Eva, I know
Yeah.
you're going to get
I
going. Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Eva.
was, yeah, because I know Eva's going to run off and go find the mummy. I'm going to ask each of you, what are you going to bring to the table of murder and mayhem on Halloween because someone's going to go missing somewhere. And what is your secret weapon? Um, for
Bloody
the
Marys.
disappearing act. Oh, Bloody Marys. Are we allowed to know what's
Yep.
in them? Do you have eyeballs
Nope.
in it? Oh, no eyeballs.
I'm
Okay.
not telling you. You're going to get them
Oh,
on the 31st.
oh. You're making sure we get our butts
Oh,
there on
so
time.
be careful that you don't go missing because
Oh, but Bloody Marys, yeah, that makes sense, right? Bloody Marys. Oh, because now I
uh-huh.
know listen, Eva knows about writing and promoting books, and she does write. And she's got a very I'm going to say interesting sense of humor, dry, quirky, twisted, and I mean this in a very positive way. Okay, Eva, you know what I mean. You know, we
Yeah.
because we laugh at the same stuff. I can say it. Um, now. Halloween, okay, so you got Bloody Marys. Anything else we should know on the table and be wary of? Because you can cook. Eva
I'd be
can cook
careful
like you
of
wouldn't
the
believe.
pump. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I haven't got that far yet. I'm still too involved with this very scary family reunion
Oh,
that I'm doing right
well,
now.
don't kill it.
So,
Bloody Marys. Take him to the museum with the mummy in St. Louis. Meet me in St. Louis at the
yeah.
mummy.
I'm going to ask him. One of the relatives is from St. Louis, is coming in from St. Louis, and I am going to ask them about that. So,
See, we were out that way, and now the big arches. The Gateway Arch is a big deal, but I didn't know about the mummy when we were there. Nancy and I would have gone to the mummy. Oh, we were there during COVID, so maybe the mummy was masked.
maybe you
It was
want
the,
to know you wouldn't.
it was the masked man. Who knows? But wow. Wow, that's cool. Well, Eva, thank you for joining us as always. Everyone, Eva's on our shows a lot and writes a lot of stories about her destinations, her travels, and we can't wait to hear about this next book. So before you go, and before you drink that Bloody Mary and talk mummies, I hear you're working on another project for 2024. You should spill the beans on because there's Castro beans in the other one. Trouble in
Yeah.
Tucson.
Oh, there are. There
Uh-huh.
are. This anthology is through Wordfire Press and Western Colorado University. It will come out next July, and the title of it is Feisty Felines and Other Fantastical Familiars. So that's a mouthful. And I'm telling you, there's a bunch of great stories going to
You
come
shouldn't
out
have
in
said,
that.
you
So
said familiars and mouthful at the same time. I'm just telling you. That is
it's a
like
mouthful of
crazy.
familiars.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oi, oi. It's going to be some fun times talking
Okay.
about this book
So,
coming up.
yeah, think felines, think cats, think ferrets, think parrots, think quail.
Think Pet
that was
Cemetery
that.
from
That
Stevie
should be.
King.
I'm not
Is
telling you.
anybody getting
I'm
eaten
not
by a
telling you.
cat? Okay.
I'm not
Just
telling
want to
you.
know.
Oh,
All right.
the
I'm just
cat
We're
thinking,
from
not doing
hell.
yeah, I mean, because I do believe cats will eat you after a certain point. I think they'll just like, you're dirtying up my space, get out, or
Just so
they'll
you
let
know,
the
it's
vultures
not.
eat.
It's still PG-13. It's going to be
Okay,
PG-13.
sorry.
So,
Sorry about my naughty. Hey, it's Halloween. We could put a
oh well,
mask
it's
on and not
okay.
be
It's
who we
okay.
are. I got my radio mask on, but well, that's exciting. So we get to keep in touch on that on the show. That's
Yes.
cool. I get to say familiars more than I ever have. So I don't even think I've ever said familiars that much on the show. So we're already ahead. So there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So, thank you for having me on. I appreciate being here as always, and I will
Awesome.
talk to you all soon.
And we won the mummy report. Thank you. Okay.
All right. I will. Okay. Talk
But
to you later.
thanks. I want to go over back to Elaine because Elaine, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about your story also in the Trouble in Tucson anthology, because I know we talked about it before, but it's good to be alive with a question mark.
Yes. I'm a biologist, so most of my writing
So she knows about
involves
familiars. Just saying. Sorry.
I didn't get a story done soon enough for the familiars. But my short story in the Trouble in Tucson anthology doesn't deal with humans. Um, and it doesn't exactly deal with murder either, although the victim, I suspect, would have preferred to be murdered than end up the way he does. So it was a lot of fun to write. I like to bring the natural world into murder and mayhem as well. It's not just us out there. It's really quite a dangerous place. We got vicious road runners, and all sorts of venomous reptiles lurking around. So it's fun to have
I love this.
non-human turmoil.
I think it's good and it lets people know about how animals work too. I mean, people would think Nancy and I were nuts when we lived well, even here, we went and watched alligators chomp on tort, sorry, he ate a
Turtles,
turtle.
turtles, yes, turtles.
Okay, wait. Lesson time, Elaine, go. Turtles
Yes.
versus tortoise, because I just call them turtles, and that way they're all together as one. And apparently that's not correct. I think I
Well,
said that to you on a show, but lesson time.
Well, I do have a book called Don't Call Me Turtle that my tortoise Myrtle made me write. But there are many differences between turtles and tortoises. I often ask people, when they say, oh, yeah, I know all the difference, name one. And very rarely do I actually get a correct answer. But an easy one, especially for your situation, is all turtles can swim. They don't have to. We have a Sonoran desert box turtle here that could go its whole life without ever swimming, but it can swim. Tortoises have really thick shells, and so they're more like rocks. So if an alligator is eating something, it'll be a turtle.
Well, he got munched on, and you could hear him crunch, and so going back to your story and the trouble in Tucson is, the wildlife does stuff, and you observe it, and some people have a hard time looking at the kill scenes, basically. It's like when your cat okay, so everybody, October 29th, the start of the holidays we're supposed to talk about, which I don't think we ever really stick to it, but October 29th happens to be a very important day, and it is National Feline Day. A National Cat Day, I should say. I'm stuck in the feline familiars thing with Eva. Let me get Eva's book correct that she's working on spicy felines and fantastical familiars. So I think that's fantastic that she brought that up on, for October 29th, the day this airs. So it's National Cat Day. but cats bring things to people all the time. Sorry, lizards. I know you like lizards and reptiles, Elaine, but they do. They bring lizards, hummingbirds. Sometimes they take the heads off hummingbirds. They do things that make people think and wonder, oh, you're such a sweet kitty. Oh, sure, you can lick my hand after you just killed a lizard and, brought me the body and left the tail hanging out there because they separate, you know. So, I'm not knocking animals whatsoever. I'm just saying the world is wild out there too, a little bit wild. Um, but anyway, do any of you have cats? I don't, Elaine, you can't have cats with iguanas, right?
No, I have no cats.
No cat.
And
Okay. Patrick, what about you?
We have 4 Chihuahua mixes.
Oh, you don't have
So
cats then.
no, we don't have cats. A cat would probably be a little more relaxing than
We
4
know.
Chihuahuas. But
We, yeah.
I'm fending them off as I'm on this interview because they're all surrounding me, waiting for their dinner.
I know how they are. I know Nancy and I travel full time across the country and part of through COVID, it ended up that we started pet sitting, and it's turned out to be the coolest thing on earth to travel and pet sit. It's not a money thing. It's so people can travel and we get to do podcasts as we go and most importantly
Right.
get to hang out with animals and that's because we miss it, and had cats and they never killed us or ate our feet or anything. But they
Well,
did bring
while
things.
oh yeah, they do. No, Chihuahuas won't bring things. They'll just eat it. But
They eat
they
poop.
did while.
Oops.
Well, they might. These
I
ones
know
that
some
we don't
nugget
really.
eaters out there, but I didn't say that.
I have not seen mine do that. I'm gonna say the best things about my Chihuahuas.
Because if you don't,
As
you
far
never
as
know.
yeah, I don't even want to think about what that would be like. But one thing she did eat, one of the 4, she happens to be the teacup Chihuahua that we have. She has 3 legs. While I've been sitting here talking to you guys, she chewed the cover of my Trouble in Tucson copy.
Uh-oh.
So
She's
so
in
now it's got her
trouble.
teeth marks all over it.
Well, she
Yeah.
says it's
Well,
Halloween, and that's that. That's
she
what's going to
caused
happen.
she added
Cause
her
some
own
mayhem.
little touch to the getting Trouble in Tucson.
She's got a little mayhem going on. Okay, so
Yeah.
October 29th, I have some historical happenings to talk about on this. Um, it was the first trial for witchcraft in Paris, which led to the death of 3 people. This was back in 1390. How about that? I didn't even think
Wow.
about witch trials in Paris. Um, and Sir
okay.
Walter Raleigh was beheaded on this day
Oh wow.
for,
Hmm.
for allegedly conspiring against James the First of England. This was in 1618. So hey, we got some crazy history happening on the 29th. We didn't have to wait um all the way till Halloween. Important in music. We're going to have a music playlist for this. So if anyone wants to send me songs for that, it's good, but very important when it comes to music. Today is the October 29th is the birth anniversary of Peter Green, the guitar, one of the most original guitars of Fleetwood Mac. Not knocking Lindsey Buckingham, but just saying Peter Green is one of the most amazing guitarists on the planet. And I'm going to find something good for Halloween for him. Um, Moving on historically, we've got the holidays. I think we got the Cat Day. There's also National Hermit Day on October 29th. Anybody know a hermit? Because
I
you
I'm
know
a
never know
hermit.
what they're doing.
I
Oh,
know some hermit crabs. I know a lot
oh,
of hermit crabs.
oh, oh. See, there you go. Hermit crabs. Now, well, you're not going to get them in Tucson. You have to go to the beach for that, right?
True.
Yeah, I've met
I know
them. I've
some,
met them too in Monterey.
yeah, I know
Yeah.
someone who recorded them underwater, the music, the sound of them coming out of their shell and hunting. No, they weren't hunting. He was anyway. He recorded them in Maui. No, 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 Hawaii volcanoes area. No, so it's the main island of Hawaii, the Big Island. Um, yeah,
Oahu.
Andy Jarima is a recording artist, a musician, and teacher, and we work with the National Parks Arts Foundation, and they do residencies. By the way, for writers too. artists, musicians, poets, you name it. You apply and to go into stay in a national park for a month and create in that park. And so just saying, and that's what he did. And he's been on our shows a few times, and he records sounds out in nature and then puts them into music, which was pretty cool. But he recorded
That's
a hermit
fun.
crab. Yeah, yeah. And by the
I've
way, one of
never
the
heard one.
latest, I mean, either one of the latest artists in residence in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park through this is uh, from Tucson. So I think that's pretty cool. She went all the way to Hawaii for that. So, hey, that's cool. Now, do you know any people hermits?
Not real ones.
Oh,
I tell you,
okay.
aren't most writers?
Yeah, really, right?
We have hermit-like
That,
tendencies, yes.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, that counts, doesn't it?
And isn't it hard to go into public afterwards? Like if you're in a writing mood and then you have to go to work or you have to like actually talk to people or see people. Like a grocery store, you can just stay like, especially if you like go to a Walmart or something, you can go in your pajamas and be in a weird zone and look at people and look at how they would fit in your story. But like actually having to communicate with people, isn't that weird when you're writing, you know, to go out
It
in the
can be
world?
off-putting. Yeah, it can definitely be off-putting, especially during COVID.
Off-putting. That's that's classic. I like that. Elaine, do you like to go out and talk to people while you're writing?
No. If I'm in the mood to write, I'd really prefer to be left alone. But when I do go out, like most recently at the Tucson reptile show, the people who
Mm,
come to the reptile show are some of the most fascinating people I have ever seen. And I do enjoy sitting there, people watching and making notes on
mm.
characters for books.
Well, with us traveling the country, Nancy and I do a lot of people watching in parks and parking lots and rest areas. That's been our thing. And there's a lot of murders that happen in rest areas, and people
Yes.
freak out because we stop in rest areas, rest, maybe sleep a few hours, any time of day or night. But it has become, there's a whole community of rest area people, and it's a whole other world. I'm just saying. We have
It
seen,
sounds like a plot for a Halloween movie.
actually,
Yeah.
I think we're going to start like a YouTube channel or something about it because we've watched, I can't even tell you, like, even, I don't even know if it's legal to say some of the stuff we've seen. We have seen drug deals go down. We've seen cars like smoking and carrying on. We've seen, like really smoking and burning. We've tried to rescue a dog after fireworks on the 4th of July, which was really sad. We've seen, a lady grab her husband's toe, like her entire, like his foot by his toe and start giving him a manicure on the only bench in a rest area. We've seen weird, we have seen, we love it. Actually, it's become a sport. A hobby for us
Well,
is to go people
I
watching
can only
in,
imagine. She must have told him a million times to take care of his toes, right?
he just, she went at, I filmed it. I do have footage. And so
Oh,
now
my.
I'm thinking we need to have like one of those webcam things so we can film people in rest areas. I don't know how legal that
Oh,
is. So everybody, we haven't got it yet. We haven't done it, but I have taken some photos of some weird things, weird surveillance, uh, trucks and cars and things. Yeah, it's really interesting.
oh,
Um, and lot lizards, you know, the women that go hang around truckers.
Right.
Um, yeah, yeah. That's a whole other lizard than what Elaine does. Um, so,
They're not
so
reptilian
scaly
enough for me.
skin notwithstanding. Yeah.
yeah, yes, really. Usually carrying a bag, a plastic bag for some reason in and out of trucks. But yeah, anyway, going back to October 29th, and also actually happens to be Visit a Cemetery Day. So that's pretty cool.
Oh,
So let's think about cemeteries. Like if you, somebody got excited about a cemetery. I love it.
yes.
If
That's
you could
right.
go visit someone's cemetery and actually commune with, you know, the soul on the other side, who would you go like knock on the cemetery tomb or door and say, hello, I'm coming to visit. Let's go with you, Elaine.
I would go visit my cousin, Edgar Allan Poe. I
He's
would
your cousin?
He's a cousin, yes. No, he's a
Like,
distant cousin, but he is a cousin. My my paternal grandmother was a Poe. So we researched
you
all
don't
our
go around saying I'm a Poe.
yeah.
Apparently you do. But
I-
that's amazing.
yeah, so I'd like to chat with him.
And he has now Larkin and Poe, the blues musicians, the sisters,
Right.
are distant relatives of his as well. So you're going to
Yeah,
be related to them maybe.
exactly.
You have a
And they're
lot.
fantastic.
Yeah,
They're fantastic musicians. They're
they
like
are. Yes.
incredible. Oh, well, I like this. So we can have ravens and iguanas with you now. Like
Oh,
but the ravens might take the iguana eggs, right?
that's true. But I could negotiate with the Ravens. I'm sure I can find them something else to consume. Then again, most of my iguana eggs are infertile, so they can eat them anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No hanky panky in my household.
Just
Okay.
raising
Well,
so many questions, Elaine.
I know. I'm just like going, what's going on? All right.
I mean, from Poe to infertility,
I,
it just goes on.
You never know which way the conversation is going to.
yeah, you never know with a Poe.
Yeah, exactly.
So whose cemetery door are you knocking on? Because some do have little door things. I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. But truly.
Well, I was going to say Poe as well because it is the
No
Halloween
way.
season. But so it is kind of weird, especially because I'm curious about the way he died.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Okay.
Elaine, you
So
probably, it was a kind of a mystery, right?
It is, yes. And as
Well,
it
it
gets
still
more
is, yeah.
information, it just gets more mysterious.
Right. Sort of like Jack the Ripper. The more you learn, the more questions it raises.
Exactly.
everybody loves a good mystery, though, right? That's the
Always.
That's
thing.
right. And especially a dark one with kind of well, in a mystery book, you have to have some kind of resolution. But in real life mysteries, you don't really have to have an answer. And it gets creepier without one.
Oh, see, this is it. I think we need to go to his grave, because is it up in Pennsylvania? Where is it? I know friends who've been to it. Well, I'm gonna go
You
now.
know,
We'll have to go. We'll have to go.
I've
We'll have
never
to look
been.
at,
I'd love to go.
yeah, where is his grave? Edgar Allan Poe grave.
Is it in Philly?
No, it's in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, it's
Ah,
in
that's right.
Baltimore.
You're
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
Baltimore. Oh, wow. Okay, well, hopefully while I'll get there, Nancy and I can get there next year. We'll go. We'll go. That's cool. Okay. Speaking of graves, okay, October 30th is Create a Great Funeral Day. So, what do you want at your funeral? Each of you, just one thing that you want to have happen at your funeral. Let's start with you, Patrick. What do you want at your funeral? This is
Well,
really nice.
I would say food, but since I won't be there technically, I would, I would maybe want, the other common one, which resonates with me, but I don't know if I'd really want it, is to have a mysterious stranger show up and start crying and nobody know who that person is. Just to throw a curveball.
Hmm.
That could be
Just
fun.
start crying and not know who it is and
Yeah, everyone else
ooh,
would be like, who is that? And why
like
why are they here and
like
why are they crying?
hire an actor to do a whole like script. Oh,
Yeah,
that'd be kind of
exactly,
I like that.
like
Ooh,
something. Yeah. I
I
knew
like
him
that.
in Jerusalem or something, and
And they'll go, "What? He went
I've
to
never been.
Jerusalem? I didn't know when." Yeah, like I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Well, he has this whole other
during his
side of life.
naval intelligence days.
Oh, good. Yeah, and he was also and while he was doing that, he was also with the CIA and the SWAT team. He was like, moonlighting through all of them. Oh, I like this. I like this. So, what about
And
you,
my six
Elaine?
kids.
Oh, you're six. Oh, six. Oh, good.
Wow.
666 because we can't do that.
Right.
Elaine, what about you? What do you want at your funeral?
I want the jazz band playing when the Saints come marching in, like they have down in New Orleans after the
I
funeral, at the end of the funeral.
I like that. So, do you go to New Orleans?
Not very often. I've been a couple of times, but I always like that.
A nice
Then
Dixieland. Would you
everybody
want to be
dances away from
like a
after the service.
Dixieland style or no?
Dixieland would be okay too, but I prefer the jazz, the New Orleans
Okay.
jazz style.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
because it's got this upbeat, like celebration of life versus like, you know.
exactly. Yep.
Okay, there's nothing more terrifying than old moldy food in the fridge, and October 30th is haunted refrigerator night. What do you need to toss out of the refrigerator or give to someone and say, good luck with that? Stick your hand in the pumpkin and guess what it is? Cadaver parties. That's what we used to do. My Nancy is normally on the show. My mom Nancy would do cadaver parties for Halloween. So you turn the lights off and she would make these make whatever, like you'd have hard-boiled eggs, um,
and
and
call them
you
eyeballs.
know you're feeling them in a bowl under the table. The bowl goes around the table, and everybody puts their hand in the bowl, feels what's in the bowl, and says what body part it is.
So
So
what
you
body
can,
part is a hard-boiled egg?
well, that's up to you to decide when you
Oh,
feel it.
because you
Yeah,
peel.
And are they
they're
infertile
peeled.
or fertile?
Well,
They,
that would be up to Elaine to decide. And were they iguana or not, or a quail, you know?
because you could have those partially fertile chicken eggs so that they have the beginning of feathers. Make it
Oh,
Oh,
really creepy.
oh, that's so weird. That's you, you, just like you.
I'm
So what's
picturing
in?
that now. That's it.
Uh-huh. Just like
Yeah.
a line to go there.
Oh, wow. You guys are fun. What's in your fridge, Elaine, that needs to go into the haunted refrigerator? Like, that needs to come out. Like, what would you say needs to come out and be used as part of the Halloween display of ewness?
Boy, I'm not sure I
She's a
have
biologist.
anything that
Everything's going to be clean and sanitary and fertile, not fertile,
mo- most
infertile.
of it's food for the reptiles. So, I've got collard greens and zucchini. I don't know.
That under the table. What
Yeah.
about you? What about you, Patrick? What do you need to get out of your
Well,
fridge?
I would say it would be the leftover barbecue beans.
Okay, that can get weird.
That could get
That can,
scary.
That could
Yeah.
that,
yeah.
that could get weird. I'm picturing putting my hand in it, and I'm not liking how that feels.
No,
But
I'm not.
I can't really well, I can put my finger on it, but mentally I can't put my finger on what it would
Mm-mm.
be similar
No,
to.
Yeah.
no. Now, October 30th is also National Candy Corn Day. So if you want your teeth to bend, eat those crayons. I'm just saying. It's like
It,
candy corn.
and you have to
Are they
eat
still
each.
around?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to eat each section separately. So I nibble off the little end, and then I nibble off the top, and then that leaves the orange center.
Wow. So
Ah,
you do
does
them
they
separately. Does each section taste different or is it one whole?
It's pretty much sugar and corn syrup flavored.
Yeah. Yeah.
but in your
Real good.
mind it's different.
Well, sure. And then they have the chocolate ones.
They do?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm behind. So, but now because to me they're like little teeth, right? So when you're eating them, do you think you're eating teeth? Because every time I eat them, my teeth, like if there's anything heavy sugar, like my teeth feel like they're literally bending. They're moving, they're curling up in my mouth. That's how it feels to me. It just does. So now you're biting the teeth apart. That's what it sounds like to me, Elaine. That's how it. So now it's like maybe I won't have the
Eating
teeth
teeth.
curl if I do bit by bit.
Yes. Yeah. And I've never thought of them as little teeth, but now I guess I'll have to.
They are little teeth.
I've thought of them as little plugs that you can put in a pumpkin after you've carved it for fake teeth.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's cool. Good one. Good.
okay.
Do you eat them, Patrick?
That's why I asked if they were still around because I can't remember the last time I had.
Mm. I think they should float around in some kind of cocktail somehow, somewhere. Um,
Now that
October
would be good.
30th, I
Yeah.
know. Now, speaking of cocktails, October 30th is also Mischief Night about pulling pranks.
Yes.
Come on, let trick or treat. Here we go, of course. Now we all know about TPing, and that is fun. I'm sorry, but it is fun. You know. Um, Either of you done any kind of pranks we should know about? Truth or dare?
No.
Wow.
Oh, I guess it depends on the dare, but I did one that I got spoken to about by my boss once to a coworker.
Ooh, I want to know. Can we tell or no?
Yeah, I mean, I won't mention names or where it was, though it was here in Arizona. Um, I put a ventriloquist. She had a phobia of ventriloquist dummies,
Oh,
um, and so I took photos of a ventriloquist dummy at her desk doing various things like holding the phone and tapping on her keyboard. And then I put them on, I printed them all out as photos and I taped them all around her desk.
That's
And I got a
hysterical.
talking to by the boss after she found that.
Well, I can get it, but like, come on. It's kind of funny. Like, I think it's funny. But if you have a
Yeah.
like,
I,
people are scared of clowns are seriously scared of clowns. Like, really, there are
right.
people
right.
really scared of clowns.
Yeah. Mine is
And
bears.
really, bears are
Yeah.
cool. Really?
They terrify
Oh,
me. Yeah.
so no teddy bears
So
either?
no, I'm okay with fake. It's the real ones that I just wouldn't get anywhere near them. So, I
Well,
mean, I have in the past. I was a reporter. I was a journalist for 10 years, and I got to
okay.
cover events where there were bears, and had to get had the opportunity to play with baby bears,
Mm.
and I was okay with that.
Oh,
But when they brought out the gigantic mauling kind of bear, I got back in the car.
well,
Because
that,
they can sense fear too.
yeah, and
I know.
well, there's also like having the right people with the animals. There's something about that. And Elaine, maybe you want to touch on that too, about um the qualified people taking animals out. Let's put it that way. There's there's something to be said about that. Don't you think, Elaine, about the right people doing it and not like a,
Well,
I don't want to get into that whole thing today, but you know what I mean. There should be qualifications of touching that. I've been to a place where a guy just brought out a cheetah, and I could tell the cheetah was uncomfortable. And I'm going, this cheetah can maul you and me and Nancy all in 1 second, right now. You know, um, he wasn't going to, but I could tell that it just you have to have the right people and
yeah,
an organization.
the,
You know,
the animal
and
has
someone
to
did actually
trust.
get mauled on his property like 2 weeks later, by the way. So
Oh yeah.
we weren't far wrong. So you have to be careful.
Yeah,
Go
you
ahead,
can
Elaine, sir.
socialize them, but they're still wild animals with all their instincts and all their fears. And you should really pay attention to what your animals are trying to tell you because they have
Exactly.
bad days too. I
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right. Um, Elaine, any pranks on your side? Have you put reptiles in people's beds and apple pied them or?
No, the worst thing I ever did was put the Vaseline on the doorknobs.
Wow, that's pretty
Um,
fun though.
yeah.
That's fun.
We used to take the latex gloves and fill them with different colored water and stick them in liquid nitrogen so we can make little fake hands,
Ooh, that's cool.
frozen
That's
Oh,
just
hands.
cool stuff to do.
And and
That's
and
just
there's lots
fun.
of fun with dry ice.
Yeah, dry ice is cool. Yeah,
okay.
when I went to school in England for a couple of years, or a year and whatever it was, I was a little kid and so we had vitamins over there, um, that looked like Smarties, which are like M&Ms here,
Right?
and they were all orange. So I took them to school and I sold them. 'Cause, listen, I would, you want cigarettes, you want whatever you want a note for your parent, I was a little entrepreneur, pretty much. Um, But I went to different schools in different countries in Africa, and some of the schools taught you to be entrepreneurial. Just saying. And but anyway, so I hit England and I sold them, and they didn't taste. They were hard. You're not supposed to chew on them like you do a Smartie. So I got in trouble,
Oh,
and
geez.
I had to write apology letters and got in trouble. Like you could have gotten some kids sick and all of that because it's like here, there's a new Smartie here for you, and that didn't go down very well. And next thing you know, it's down Jack the Ripper's alleyway. No, I'm kidding. But it was. But I got in big trouble, and I was like, "You bunch of babies," you know. But anyway, so then we moved to South Africa, and I sold sick notes. So there we are. You know, anyway, I was pretty good at sick notes
Hey,
because I can copy people's handwriting. So anytime anybody wants anything forged, call me. I can do it. But actually not
right?
now. My handwriting sucks. As a kid, I was good. I was studious about it. Now I can't handwrite anything. I don't know if you guys can, but my handwriting
Yeah.
is out the window now. There's no such thing, you know?
Out of
I don't know
practice.
if, yeah, yeah. Isn't that weird how we get like that because of phones and computers and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Um,
No need for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, October 30th is also Grace Slick's birthday. I think we should bring that up. White Rabbit and all that goodness. We have to bring that up for birthdays and historic happenings. Halloween, of course. I love this fact that it is. I do. Am I? Oh, no, he died on this day. See, I always get it wrong. It's John Candy's birthday, if you like John
Oh,
Candy. Yeah, Ethel Waters' birthday. John Keats, there, the poet.
Right.
Um, but it is Houdini either was born or died on this day. I swear. What? Hmm.
on Halloween?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that seems oddly fitting. Either way, it's oddly fitting.
He
Yeah.
he
It's
he died
also
on he died
huh?
on Halloween.
He did? He died on Halloween. Yeah,
Yes.
he died on Halloween. Nevada was admitted as the 36th state. I think that's fitting too, since it has so
It
many
is
ghost
rather fitting.
towns. Yeah, that makes sense, right? And
And it's
yeah,
and Vegas can be a rather scary place.
yeah, yeah, really. And we've done like there's Rhyolite, there's Bodie, there's all kinds of interesting ghost towns out there. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Harry Houdini died of gangrene and peritonitis
Ooh,
after his appendix ruptured. So
that's a
Right.
painful way to die.
Ooh,
that is not fun.
yeah.
That is not fun. We all know Halloween is October 31st, but it's also National Authors Day. Go figure. Oh, sorry, I
Fitting as
jumped ahead.
well.
That's no, it's October 3rd. Sorry, that was November 1st. I clicked ahead. I was excited. Halloween is October 31st, National Caramel Apple Day, because your teeth are already feeling great after the candy corn or corn candy.
Right.
National Doorbell Day. Okay, who would you not want to ring your doorbell? Who would you hide from ringing your doorbell? Ooh, I'm like
Well,
anybody
nearly
actually.
everyone. Yeah, and just
It's like
about
leave me.
everyone.
We're going to the Hermit Day again. It's a magic day
I
too.
mean,
Elaine? Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean
know how
anybody.
many solar panel salesmen I need to have come to my house, but apparently I need quite
Oh,
a few.
are you still getting those? Oh, wow. The Fuller Brush man. Yeah. What about
I,
you, Elaine?
well, I like the Fuller Brush man. We used to buy Fuller brushes. Any of the political people running in politics, I probably hide from.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
It
keep
gets
at
a
my
little
door.
much. Yeah. Politics can, well, that's a whole other Halloween. That's a whole other show.
Scary event.
Um, and don't forget, there's a good old knock a door run, leave some, poo on fire on the doorstep. That's always good. Anyway, sorry, that's fun. It's Magic Day. A little bit of magic goes anywhere. Um, either of you written about magic in your books?
No.
Ah, I
Ooh,
can't. I've written a lot of short stories, and I can't remember uh, if there's been anything magical. I mean, supernatural, yes.
hmm. Okay. Well, supernatural. Well, it's all kind of good to me. Now, Tucson has the Day of the Dead. Have you done
Yes.
that? Have you been to that, Elaine?
Yes.
We have
Several
too.
times.
I love it. I loved it.
It
It's
really is. It's very it's fascinating, it's meaningful, and really strange altogether.
Have you done it yet, Patrick?
I believe I did. Are we talking about the march that starts somewhere near downtown and it goes all the way to a different location where hundreds and hundreds of people walking?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the first
I
Sunday of
have.
November. It's the All Souls
Yes, I did.
procession.
Yes, I did do that in 2019, right when we had been here about a month and we
Oh,
did that.
wow. That's quite a welcome to the city. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really interesting.
Well, this year it's going to be from the 3rd through the 5th, and I think the whole city and so has so many events surrounding. There's the procession, but and then they do this burning at the end, right,
Yes.
Elaine, where
Yeah,
they
I saw
burn
that.
everything. Yeah, that's pretty trippy. I've got some trippy footage from it before, so that's kind of cool to think about when people go to, and to different cities and to learn the cultures behind it. But November 1st, everyone, National Authors Day, and we have 2 authors on the show. How cool is that? Okay, do either of you remember an author that really sparked your flame of writing that you would go to and go, okay, this person did it, like as an inspiration for each of you? We can start with you, Elaine, an author
Um,
that kind of inspires you.
Eliza Craig, and she had another name as well, um, who wrote really quirky, cozy mysteries that I loved. Charlotte McLeod is her other name. And whenever she had a new book out of either pseudonym, I would make sure I got a copy of it. I just liked her quirky characters. They were down to earth, and the mysteries were always interesting.
That's cool. That's cool. What about you, Patrick? A mystery. See, here we go.
Yeah, for me as a teenager, we talked about the Cat from Hell. That was the first short story I read by Stephen King,
Oh,
and I became a huge Stephen King fan after that. So he was really my introduction to reading for fun.
mm,
And then my mom said, well, if you'd like to read, why don't you try? She was huge on Agatha Christie. So
hmm.
she introduced me to Agatha Christie, and I became a big Christie fan.
Oh, there's a lady who just wrote a book on recipes based on Agatha Christie novels. Recipe
Oh,
book.
really?
I'm gonna have to dig out that press release. It's sitting somewhere in my email box, and I keep meaning to answer it.
Hopefully, it's not like boiled ham and things like that.
or 2 hard-boiled eggs under a table. I don't know, but anyway, who knows? Hey, but speaking of that, it's National Cinnamon Day on November 1st, and who doesn't like cinnamon? Do you guys like cinnamon? Gotta have
Nope.
cinnamon in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hate cinnamon.
Oh, you can. As soon as I go, who doesn't like cinnamon? Nope. There
Yep.
it is.
You
Elaine doesn't want
you
cinnamon. No
really do?
cinnamon.
I really hate cinnamon.
That's going to be kind of hard because, Tucson's got so much, Mexican culture, Spanish history too. And like
Horchata. Yeah.
yeah, cinnamon's a big part. Like, oh,
Yep, they ruin a lot of good food with cinnamon.
oh my gosh.
So
That's funny.
there are three really critical things I've learned about Elaine today. Hates
Fertile eggs,
cinnamon,
infertile.
owns infertile eggs, and is related to Poe.
I know. Oh my gosh, this is great. That sounds like a recipe book right there in a weird way. It's like you could have a poetic recipe book. Well, okay, it's also National Deep Fried Clams Day. I have no idea about
Oh,
clams because I can't eat them.
oh,
Allergic to that.
Ugh.
Um, but for Elaine, November 1st is National Family Literacy Day. I think that's important for what you do with all your books for
I
kids.
I agree.
Yeah, so November 1st, Authors Day and Family Literacy Day. I think it's important. I mean, I know phones and all that and digital books are great, but I just think if families can even create their own reading group at some point, depending on ages and everything, it just is kind of a cool thing to check in on the book and have a family dinner once in a while and a conversation, you know? I think that would
Absolutely.
Sounds
be,
good.
yeah. And dinner could be calzone since it's National Calzone Day on November 1st. I'm just saying. Anybody like
Is
calzone?
that
Or is
the
it
same as
calzone?
Cinnamon Day?
Cal
Oh, I
Yeah.
love them.
yes. Calzone and Cinnamon Day all on the same day, November 1st.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, that sounds better than
Uh,
Halloween.
now what about, okay, wait, Elaine? Calzone? No?
Oh,
Yay?
yes. Yeah, I like calzones.
Oh, okay, okay. You're back on track.
Thank God.
It's
You
also
can have my
National Brush Day. It's National Brush Day because everybody needs to brush their teeth from Halloween. That's classic. I love it. I love it. That's always a fun thing for, kids to remember. Here, have all your candy. And some adults, I'm just saying, some adults do need a toothbrush reminder. Do we? I don't know.
Yeah, down
Well,
by Speedway and Cold, perhaps.
no, okay. Here we go. Yeah. And then, well, listen, we had to be taught how to wash our hands apparently during COVID. So, you know, it is what it is.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah, it is. The Tempest, Shakespeare's comedy, The Tempest, was presented for the first time in 1611 on November 1st. Got to add a
Which
little
happens to be
Shakespeare to,
my
oh,
favorite Shakespeare.
oh, see? Okay. It is also D. Hamilton Jackson's Memorial Day. It was the establishment of the first press in the Virgin Islands on this day in 1915, November 1st. So I think that's important. And speaking of eggs, um, and fertility, on November 1st, the very first rabbit born after artificial insemination was exhibited to the world in 1939. So there you go. There's some biology for you, Elaine.
Nice.
excellent.
So I know. I don't know how they did it or what they did, but I'm supposing some test tubes were involved somewhere, and I don't know, but test tubes were happening. Also, speaking of writing and publishing, November 1st, Larry Flint was born
Oh,
in
wow.
Oh,
1942. Oh, we're very excited about that. But
I'll
anyway,
pretend not to know who that is.
I don't know. Hey, but actually he did a lot for the publishing industry, to be
Yeah.
Hmm.
fair, on one side.
For censorship. Yeah.
Yeah, he really did. And yeah, we may need him back in a little bit. We'll do this podcasting as long as we can. Just saying. You never know what's going to happen. I'm trying to look at who we have. Burt Lancaster. Anybody remember him?
Well,
He
sure.
was
Oh yeah.
he was born. We're on to November 2nd, everybody. Burt Lancaster, Stephanie Powers, the
Okay.
actors,
Oh yeah.
actresses, Anne Rutherford. Um, Important, Katie Lang, the singer. She was born on this day too. I just like her music.
Oh.
She's cool. Yeah. Let's see. George Washington gave his farewell address to the army on this date in
Ooh.
1783. This was when he was a general.
Right.
And North and South Dakota became the 39th and 40th U.S. states on November 2nd. And since we're podcasting, here's some interesting stuff. In the United States, KDKA of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania started broadcasting as the first commercial radio station.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
yay. And the BBC initiated the BBC television service on this day. Hey, that's kind of cool when
Ah.
you think about it. Like BBC One still runs. Yeah, I mean, it's weird how things all happen on same days. I kind of look at that as always weird. But the Levelland UFO case in Levelland, Texas generated national publicity and remains one of the most impressive UFO cases in American history. And this happened in 1957. Huh.
Wow. Hmm.
And
I'm not so sure about that one.
I don't know either. I don't know anything about that. Now I have to look it up. Now, you guys know about
I've
all these
been.
band. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say I've been researching UFOs. So for the next book.
Mm. Ooh,
But
for
I'm
Tucson
actually
or
researching. It's for the whole state of Arizona. Erie.
oh,
It's going to be called
cool.
Erie, Arizona. So cryptids, UFO sightings, and hauntings.
Okay, there's weird stuff out by Gila Bend. I'm just saying. There's
Okay.
weird.
Well, what I've
Yeah.
been reading about lately is the Phoenix Lights from the 90s,
Yes.
Oh, huh, 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 huh. Well, this
which
is
is
exciting.
considered probably one of the biggest sightings in the state's history.
Yeah, you do remember someone telling me that story. Do you want to give everybody a glimpse since we're talking Halloween and weird stuff? I mean,
Well,
UFOs come to play. Are we allowed to or no?
oh yeah, UFOs
I
fill
know. Just
the Halloween niche. And yes, the book isn't going to be out until next year, but I'm writing it now, so it's kind of a 4 parts of creepiness, which is unsolved cases, like cold cases that are historically famous through the state, haunted locations throughout the state. Trying to remember what else. The UFOs. Oh, but my favorite is the cryptids because I'm doing like the La Llorona, the chupacabra, and
oh,
regional
cool.
cryptids. So
Oh,
it's been fun. It's been fun researching.
oh my God, I bet it is. Oh, you got to keep us posted on that. We want to know. We love that kind of thing. That's
Will
cool.
do.
Yeah, now, speaking of more books, Penguin Books was found not guilty on November 2nd, 1960. It found not guilty of obscenity in The Lady Chatterley's Lover.
Never.
You have to be careful how you pronounce Lady Chatterley. Um, but can you imagine that now? And look at where we are with banned books, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's kind of like insane when you think about all these banned books. Hopefully,
And
I think it's
what did Larry Flint think of Lady Chatterley?
oh
Yeah.
my God. And they're like, yeah, isn't that weird? Like again, think, yeah, I'm sure he liked her. He would have published it.
Maybe a
He
little.
would, yeah, he would have published it, but my gosh, it's weird. So November 2nd is officially the Day of the Dead. Also National Deviled Egg Day. Let's go over to Elaine. Do we get a yay or nay from Elaine on a deviled egg?
Well, before I became allergic to eggs, I loved them.
Ah,
But
ah,
since I developed allergies to them, I haven't eaten a
all the
deviled
eggs in
egg
your
in
house are infertile.
decades. Yes. One of those
Well, that's
infertile
number
eggs.
4.
Coming full circle. Seriously, this is becoming full circle. It's also National Men Make Dinner Day. Hey, I know men actually make really good dinners. Sorry, I'm doing pizza, so that's good. I think guys doing it. That's awesome. Be the Impact Day about being responsible for making a positive impact. I love that, Elaine. You do that with
Yeah,
what your books are doing.
I try.
Yeah. Yeah. Patrick, what would you say is what you do to make a positive impact? I'd say
Well,
you're
I
you're
think
keeping history alive. Can,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's the point of the nonfiction stuff is to remind people of the past so that they don't repeat the same mistakes.
yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. Yeah, don't, that's the thing about history, right? Is, always trying to teach people to read about it. Don't become
And
the next Jack the Ripper, but um,
right,
it's
please.
National Homemaker Day on November 3rd. Yay. It's National Sandwich. I have nothing to say about that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
keeping my mouth shut on.
I'm not saying anything. I just can't. And I'm not saying anything negative either. So don't take it that way, people.
No.
Don't send me those emails. Because I think anybody taking care of houses, it's a lot. But November 3rd is National Sandwich Day. So I'm going to Elaine. And I didn't even get to ask you if you like deviled eggs, Patrick. Yes or no?
Oh, I love them. Yes, I'm not allergic.
Okay, easy eating the eggs. Go for it. Okay, so sandwich day. Elaine, what's your ultimate sandwich?
I like sandwiches with lots of stuff in them. So lots of meat and cheese and veggies and those little banana peppers and
Ooh,
um
no banana slugs.
no banana slugs. Although my box turtles would probably go for them.
Ooh,
Um,
they're pretty cool though, man. I love banana slugs.
yes. I'm not sure if the box turtle could actually subdue one. But yeah, no, if given
Hmm.
a choice, I always go with the ham and cheese, but I always
All
like
right.
lots of interesting stuff.
Okay, so she's moved up on the food wagon, Patrick, I think. She's reclaiming her position here. So what
I'm
for
still
you is
thinking
the
of eggs with feathers on them.
I know. You
That's
take a
actually
bite out of an egg salad sandwich and you come out with a mouthful of feathers.
that's a delicacy in some cultures.
Yeah, it is. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like that. No, and it's stinky too. It's like a
Oof.
ew,
Oh,
stinky, crunchy. Hey, we have met a lady that and actually worked with her on some projects, Nicole, um, who was God, what was that thing with fear? Oh gosh, it was like a overcoming your fears and doing all these things. Joe Rogan was the host of it, a TV thing.
Fear
Um,
factor?
Fear Factor, and she ate the rat. She did it.
Ooh,
And she's like, I ate the
gross.
rat. And I'm like, you didn't. She goes, yeah. And Joe Rogan talked her through eating the rat and blended it up. And he's like, don't get over your mindset. You can do this. And he did it. She ate the rat and she won. So you go,
Wow.
Nicole. Power to you for eating the rat. And then Elaine's sitting here going, don't eat the rat. Elaine, don't. Do you have animals that will eat the rat? You know, or no?
Uh, None of my animals will eat rats.
Cats will eat rats. Well, maybe
Yeah,
not. They're really more into mice. Rats get pretty big.
I do.
I think I like all animals, so I don't think negative. But now that we've got into, are you ready for a sandwich, Patrick, after this conversation? He's like, I don't even,
Well,
would
for
you
a
like a
sandwich?
sandwich? Yeah, would you like, and Nancy's yelling in the background, I want a Reuben. I want a Reuben. You?
Oh, those are good. Um, my favorite, my go-to is sourdough BLT.
That's good, except for the tomatoes shouldn't be in there.
Well, and I wouldn't do it today, but sometimes I do like to put a fried egg on it.
Oh, but not today. No, today the eggs are
No,
really,
not.
no,
Yeah,
you
this
know what?
conversation
Breakfast
has
is
steered me
completely,
away.
there is no cinnamon. It's fall. There is no cinnamon in the coffee tomorrow, and there's no eggs for breakfast for sure. It's over. Okay, Elaine.
Well,
It's
well that
okay. We'll all survive. We'll all
that
survive.
that partially feathered egg is called a
No,
balut.
that's it. The balloon. Oh,
It still doesn't make it better.
I don't know. Eggs Benedict was my favorite breakfast lunch, and, and it's
Well,
kind
the
of different
hollandaise
now.
dripping off a feather.
Now I can see like the little face going, wah, wah, wah. I don't know. It's like, little faces in your food. Does anybody else see faces in their food or like get weird? I'm like a little weird like that. I look at things and go, I see faces like in carpets and okay, whatever. I'm not doing anything weird, but like you see faces at times and think in patterns
I've seen
on
them
like
in
wallpaper.
pancakes.
And some people see Jesus on tortilla chips, I mean, it's
Oh,
real.
that's
People
right.
see things. It's people see their things. But like if you're in a bathroom, right? You go to the bathroom and you're in some place that you haven't been before and you're going to go back again, right? You go in the first time and you see on this wallpaper, like this looks like a face that's yelling at you, like a creepy face. And you go back and it's moved position. Have you ever experienced that, any of you? Like I sometimes feel like there's ghosts in wallpaper and carpet and all kind like there's little faces, but they move according to what you do. I'm not
Would
that
that be
weird.
with or without opium?
I'm talking without because I never had opium. Not yet anyway, but I'm starting to sound like I should or have. But no, but if you, what is that? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the movie.
Yes.
Um, yeah, yeah, you know what I mean? The carpet. But there are patterns and things, and you can see things in them, and then you go back to look at it and you can't see it. It's moved or changed according to your mind, your perception. It's not, I'm not being weird. It's just the way our minds work, of seeing
It's
things. And
science.
you, yeah. Can you help on this, Elaine?
No, no,
He's backing out of this one. All right. All
I'm
right.
not
So,
catching that one.
okay. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I promise. All right. So it's Fountain Pen Day on November 3rd. Speaking of, yeah, have either of you written with a fountain pen?
Yes.
I have. Yes. Yeah.
I was taught in school how to do one. And I think we even had to buy one when I was in school, like a fountain pen, and do the
And
ink and cursive and have that special paper and everything.
and for
You know?
doing scientific illustrations, we had to have a fountain pen to get
Oh,
the flow right.
Oh, wow. That, so, huh. So do you do
and I had
illustrations?
I I did a little, but I don't do real illustrations. Certainly not today.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I think scientific illustrations are fascinating, and sometimes they actually do a better job than photography in a weird
Yes.
way for
Yeah.
identification. Yeah, I'm like Audubon and Sibley's and all of even botanical drawings of plants, and we could talk about carnivorous plants since we're in the Halloween mode. Those are cool.
They
like
are.
But
Venus
yeah,
flytraps.
yeah, those are
Yes.
cool. And pitcher plants.
And picture
Um,
plants.
oh, pitcher plants. Seriously, they look like a little choir singing, all innocent, but they're like eating things. They do. They're all in a little row going, "Woo, here I am. Look at me. I'm so pretty."
Come
Chomp.
on in, take a dip.
Well, what about the Day of the Triffids movie? You like old movies. Have you watched that, Patrick? The Day of the Triffids?
I I have, and uh, body snatchers as well.
See, now, Elaine, have you seen the Day of the Triffids?
I have not.
I don't know whether to recommend it, but it's it's classic. It's just one of those classic things, and it's funny. And the plants, they have these clicking sounds when they come after you. It's like clapping, like clack, 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 clack. I'm going to come and get you. And then the plants invade the people. You know,
Sounds like
there
my
is that.
kind of movie.
Yeah, it's there's that joke of how we tend to plants so that they kill us, like they're giving us oxygen. So then we decompose, and they're just basically keeping us alive to kill us later. But anyway, and bury us later. So who knows? But anyway, yeah. Here we go. This is definitely one of those shows. So fountain pen, Patrick, have you worked with that?
I have, but not like Elaine has. Mine has been more for fun and for the experience of using one. I still have one,
Wow,
and it
that's
was a
pretty cool.
challenge. It was a recent because I do type mostly. Writing with it and not making a huge mess was a challenge.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're getting close to our closing part. We're getting there. So National Candy Day is November 4th, which they put after Halloween, which is kind of crazy. Weird.
Well,
I don't know who makes it. It's also National Chicken Lady Day. Um, there's also National Bison Day. We love but candy. What's your favorite candy, Elaine? I know it's not cinnamon in it. No eggs, no cinnamon.
I'd say Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, you just stole Nancy's candy. Nancy loves her
Yeah.
Reese's peanut butter.
Followed
Ooh,
closely by Cadbury fruit and nut.
ooh. Cadbury Easter eggs. But I mean,
Yes.
you have to go to England for them. You can't get them here.
No.
Cadbury Easter eggs here suck compared to Cadbury's. Sorry, Cadbury's. But in England, it's real. It's like the real proper deal. It is,
Or
and it really
any of
sucks when it just sucks when you can't get it anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, it's good. And you don't want it shipped. You want it. Do you
it,
get
the
it?
nice thing is if you go to a Commonwealth country like the Bahamas or the Cayman Islands,
Mm.
they have the real Cadbury.
Yeah. Well,
You
you
can pick
know,
it up there.
yeah, because I mean, I grew up all in like British style, like, all the colonial places.
Exactly.
Um, Kenya, South Africa, England, you're definitely colonial. Um, and you'd get it. I mean, it's like even like Fanta orange is not like what you get in this country. Fanta orange is a whole other Fanta orange. Like I cannot explain it, but We've watered down stuff, and some of it may be good because the Fanta orange in other countries will give you the biggest sugar high you ever knew about. But oh man, yeah. What about you, Patrick? What's your favorite candy?
I would say the anything with peanut butter,
Ooh,
chocolate, and pretzels.
Yeah.
oh, and gummy bears. Can we add gummy bears to the mix? We have to have the
Oh
gummy
yeah,
bears.
those are delicious.
That's the only
Especially
way I travel.
the Haribo.
Oh yeah, and those are really bad for us. They're really, really bad for us, but nothing else compares. I've
Yeah.
done all the non this, non that. Nah, not the same. There's a weird texture and there's just bite those bears' heads off. See, that's we're back to the bears. See, okay, it's National Easy Bake Oven Day for kids on November 4th and Roast Dinner Day. So I don't think World Numbat Day. What's a numbat? Wow,
That's a good
I didn't
question.
a numbat. This is like a little rodent thingy. Have you heard
Yeah.
of a numbat, Elaine?
Yes,
Oh,
it's a marsupial. They're found in Australia, where the world center for marsupials. I've never seen one, but I have heard of them.
I'm looking at a picture. It's cute. It's not a dingbat. It's not, Archie
It's not
Bunker's
it's
wife.
it's not a wombat, but it's a numbat.
It's a numbat. You numbat. It's cute. It's cute. It's almost got like a little anteater's nose. It's got a long little nosy. He's cute. I want to see one. Okay, so it's numbat day and roast dinner day. Two things that shouldn't be on the same day. We don't want that, because we want to take care of the numbats. We like that. All right. So Adam Ant. Does anybody remember Adam Ant? Since I was talking about anteaters,
Ew.
he was born on this day, November 3rd. Prince Charming. I grew up with that. And William Cullen Bryant, poet and journalist, was born on this day, 1794. Looking for all those, we've got Roseanne. She was born on this day. That's a whole other story. Um,
Oh yeah.
moving,
Yeah.
yeah, we won't go there. We'll move on. We'll keep moving on. Hey, we could get our voice like that and tell us what to do. Um, and then it's okay, November 4th. I think we were on November. Yeah, we're behind on one thing. November 4th. Walter Cronkite. Talk about journalism.
Right.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah. He was
Big
born on
name.
this day, 1916.
Wow.
Okay, so November 4th. Ruth Handler was born on this day in 1916. Ruth Handler is a businesswoman, and guess what she did? She invented the Barbie doll. So there you go.
Oh
Oh, Barbie
my.
Day.
Yeah. Has anybody seen the Barbie movie?
I
I
haven't,
haven't.
but I've heard wonderful things about it.
I've been to Barbie Beach.
Elaine, we're
Nancy and I
probably.
went to, I haven't seen the
I'm
movie.
guessing we're the only two people in the world that haven't. Oh,
No,
you haven't either.
no.
So we're the only three people in the world who haven't
I
seen.
have heard good things and that I should get over it and watch it. Um, but we have been to Barbie Beach in Georgia, and
Nice.
it's they at this a couple that at the end of their driveway created Barbie Beach, put
Wow.
Barbies out and made a little display, and then people started dropping off Barbies and they keep changing out the displays. They have a
Wow.
Barbie Beach parking lot for you to park, and they have signs saying, "Don't give me any more Barbies." We were there during COVID, so we had COVID Barbies and then slut Barbies. And I say that exactly what it was. I mean, I couldn't put the pictures up on Facebook or Instagram because they'll take it down. Um, they had like, beach Barbie bars and some very odd and peculiar, weird, very Barbies ziplining in and naked Barbies and a lot of Ken Barbies and gorilla Barbie things. And
Oh,
anyway, it was fun. It was fun to see. I thought it was fun. But like I said, you couldn't put it up. If you can't put it up on Facebook, like you're seeing something very odd. I don't know about the kids seeing that. I don't think, Elaine, you would put this in your books. Um, but anyway, it was interesting. So there you go on that. So yeah, there's hey, one of the up and coming authors, Matthew McConaughey, is also born on this day, 1969. Will Rogers, ooh, Will Rogers was born
Oh yeah.
1879. Think about that, man.
Yeah.
That, that's pretty.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Jeannie, a 13-year-old feral child, was found in LA, California, having been locked in her bedroom for most of her life. And that was in 1970.
Mm.
Hmm.
That's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, did they watch Dream of Jeannie in a bottle? Like what? Like it's spelled differently, but that's kind of messed up, you know? Oh, we also
Yeah.
got our first female governor elected, Nellie Taylor Ross of Wyoming. So
Hmm.
that's kind of cool.
Wow.
No, November 5th is cool because that was Guy Fawkes Night. And that's, well, it's not
Hmm.
necessarily cool because I don't want to go and say what happened in our country recently was cool. The gunpowder plot. So we all know Anonymous, right? And Anonymous was
Right.
taken off of this. A conspiracy led by Robert Catesby, or however you want to pronounce it, Catesby, to blow up the English House of Parliament was thwarted when Sir Thomas Knivet, a justice of the peace, finds Guy Fawkes in a cellar below the House of Lords. And this was in
Mhm.
1605. So now it's Guy Fawkes Night, they blow things up. And so it's kind
Right.
of interesting when you think about what we went through in this country with what happened at the Capitol and the riots and all of the storming of the Capitol. It's kind of similar. So people thought that, but Anonymous, I always thought was kind of on the trying to do the right thing. I don't know. Um, so it's kind of, we're not back in those times, but now England celebrates, when we lived there, but that was in the 80s. They had bonfire night and people basically brought out their old furniture and blew it up. That was like and had cider around the fire. Now it's turned into like major events. But I find it
Right.
interesting, to look back on those things because, like you said, Patrick, history repeats, and we're trying not to have that happen. But
Seem to end up with
I've
it happening more and more often, but
Yeah.
it's good to make the attempt to remind
yeah.
people.
Well, November 5th is also, talk about the same day. Raymond Loewy, the inventor and industrial designer, was born on this day. And look him up if you don't know him. He's fascinating and did so much. Will Durant, the philosopher and author, was born on this date in 1885. And John Brown, the writer, in 1715. So it's kind of interesting, all these people on the same day. When you think about music, Peter Noone was born on this day from Herman and the Hermits. Graham
Yes.
Parsons. Graham Parsons was born on this day in 1946, and that's a story. Has anybody followed his story about being? Talk about his. They carted him through Joshua Tree National Park and set his casket on fire. Graham
Oh no, I
Parsons.
don't.
There's like a whole crazy story, and I may not be saying it right, but I'm just saying, look it up. Art Garfunkel on the same day as well. Ike Turner on the same day. Myron
Wow.
Floren on the same day from the Lawrence Welk Show. I mean, isn't that kind of crazy? Like,
That's a lot.
and then Fred Whipple, speaking of Fred Lawrence Whipple, Whipple Observatory, not far from you guys, the astronomer
Hmm?
was born on this day in 1906. Roy Rogers in 1911. Man, what happened on November 5th? Everybody popped out. Um,
That's right.
Seriously, it's like a mass invasion. These were the fertile eggs that came out. Vivian Lee. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Miss Scarlet. We had, oh gosh, Brian Adams, the singer, Tatum O'Neal. Ooh. And Kevin Jonas from the Jonas Brothers. I mean, that's Sam Shepard. I was born on that day too. Is that enough, guys? I think that's quite a lot of good
Yeah.
people, talented people on November 5th. And then the holidays other than Guy Fawkes Night. American Football Day, I have nothing to say about other than put classical music, especially the Nutcracker Suite, on and watch football. Do either of you
Right.
watch football?
No.
I watch an occasional Florida State game.
Ah, see, so you got Florida roots with the
Well,
iguanas.
graduated with my bachelor's degrees from Florida State. When I was there, I refused to go to a game. And I would use those Friday and Saturday when everybody was at the game to study because it was nice and quiet in the dorm.
that makes
Okay.
sense.
So yeah. She talk about nobody ring my doorbell. Everybody, it's daylight savings day. Arizona doesn't care.
No, we
On
don't.
November 5th. But Elaine, you might like this. It's National Redhead Day. I've not met you in person, but I think that might be your day.
Okay.
Patrick, I don't know if you're a redhead. I haven't met you either
I'm
yet,
not.
but anyway,
I'm
here's
not.
to all redheads. Yeah, isn't it
That's
funny?
right.
Redheads, because redheads are known to be fiery, and it's bonfire night at the same time. Like that's cool. But yeah, very cool. Thank you guys for joining. I know we went overtime, and as always, but what a fun show talking about. Yeah, we managed to keep
I
creepy all
had
the
a
way
great
through the
time,
end. Yeah, Patrick, I'm so
especially with
glad.
the eggs.
I know the eggs. We'll never get past the eggs. Um, I'm
My
just seeing
work is done
feathers now.
here.
I know, Elaine, but you always teach us something, no matter what. I do want to tell you, we're recording in, we pet sit, right? So, you've got your YouTube channel for Curtis Curly Tail, and
Yes.
we're taking care of a dog called Curly. Just letting you know. It's
Oh,
cute.
nice. Does he have a curly
Yeah.
tail?
Yes, he's got a curly. He's all curly. He's very cute. He's a very sweet boy. Yeah, he's a doodly doo with lots of curls, and he's very cute
Oh,
and very shy, but we're getting there. But anyway, because you got a curly, I had to bring up the curlies, which is separate from the feathers in an egg. So anyway, everyone keep up with Elaine. Go to her website, elaineapowers.com. As I was saying earlier, the links in the show notes will take you to everyone's websites, also to the music playlist. And Elaine and Patrick, if you've got music that you want us to add to that, just email me. We'll add it. Also keep up with Elaine at lyricpower.net. And for Patrick, go to patrickwhitehurst.com, not Hurst, Hurst, patrickwhitehurst.com. And for Tucson Sisters in Crime, pretty easy, Tucson Sisters in Crime.org, evaeldridge.com. It's all in the show notes, and we're here at bigblendradio.com. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Big Blend Radio's Big Weekly Blend podcast. You can keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com. And if you want to get our Big Weekly Blend magazine, just sign up for our newsletter at blendradioandtv.com.